Okay, here we are. Here we are. What is going on, everybody? What's going on? Let me know if you guys, we're always going to confirm that you guys can hear me. So if I can get the thumbs up, let me know if you guys can hear me on the Instagram and on Clapper, of course, and on Clapper. So give me a thumbs up. Good morning, Three Dome. Oh, Tree Dome. Sorry. Good morning. Good morning. I assume that you guys can hear me. Eagle Talent. Thank you, Vivian, on Instagram. Thank you for confirming. Let's get right into it. Imane Khelif has finally named some of the people that he will go after in his legal suit for acts of aggravated cyber harassment. And as predicted, he has named major players like Elon Musk, J.K. Rowling, and Donald Trump, accusing them of aggravated cyber harassment. But the outcome of this suit could be a lot worse than you think. And today, we'll talk about why. Get your comments ready because the show starts now. My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm a voice for common sense. I believe in free speech, masculine men, feminine women, small governments, accountability, free speech, and God. Like always, I want to hear from you guys. So join in. Let me know what you guys think. Like, give me your opinion. I want to drive a conversation. This is the whole point I do this live because I want to be able to speak to you directly. I want to know what you guys think. It doesn't matter that you agree or you disagree. All I want is to drive this conversation. Maybe teach you something. Maybe you'll teach me something. But let's have a conversation. Now, I'm not surprised by this. I predicted it. I knew that they would go after major players. Of course they would. Of course they would. And as you'll see, there's two different outcomes that can come out of this, either a very good one or a very bad one. It all depends what the next few weeks is going to bring us. But for the time being, let's go over what's been said, what's out in the news as per yesterday night. Because as I predicted, Elon Musk, J.K. Rowling, Donald Trump, even Logan Paul are going to be looked at as per mentioned by Khalifa's lawyer, Nabil Boudzi. They asked the French authorities to investigate not only Musk, Rowling, Trump's, Logan, but also X as a platform, which this is where things get very, very interesting because it's one thing to go after known people, right? People that you can prove. Like if they decided to look at me, they could definitely prove that I've called Khelif or Imane Khelif a man. It's posted everywhere. I'm not shy about it. Soon as I heard by the IBA and the WBO that he failed gender tests because he has XY chromosomes, that's a dude to me. But where it gets interesting is that now, not only are they going to investigate the known actors, the known players like the Musk, the Rowlings, the Trumps, the Logans, but now they want to be able to investigate a whole platform in order to find the people that we don't know about or that they don't know about. Think about this for a second. Think about the precedents that this, if accepted, because as per what we're concerned right now, the French authorities have received they've received the demands. They've received the suit. They haven't accepted it yet. I don't have a time frame as to when we'll hear back, but the point of the matter is that the suit has been made, has been deposited, and they have it. They confirmed, the French authorities have confirmed that they have it. But this is what I find interesting, I guess is the word I'm going to use, interesting, because I'm not too sure how else to call it. I say interesting because I'm not sure of a better word, because right now, like I said, and as you'll see, there's two possible outcomes of this: a very good one or a very bad one. But Paris attorney Nabil Boudi, which is the lawyer representing Khelif, he cites that X and Twitter, the social media company that Musk owns, and the reason he cited them in the suit is to allow the prosecutors to investigate people not named in the complaints, who still took to platforms to disparage the Algerian boxer. Khelif came under fire during the Olympics as her gender was called into question, as many, including the name in the complaint, intimidated or indicated that Khelif is a man or transgender. Let that sink in for a second and what that actually means. We have a legal suit against the X platform as a whole, not just the people that we know about, but they want to give the opportunity for the prosecutors to go after basically anybody that has mentioned that Imane Khelif is a man. Everybody on the platform of X. That is the door that they're opening, if, of course, this is approved. I don't know for you, but this is scary as fuck. This gives so much fucking power to the French authority and to anybody out there that cannot handle being online. Because at the end of the day, as soon as you have an opinion and as soon as you're ready to share it online, you're going to get harassed. I get harassed every day. Every day that I open my phone, and it doesn't matter which platform it is, and I post on 11 different platforms, I get harassed on every single platform. That's part of the game. If you have an opinion, guess what? People are going to agree. People are going to disagree. People are going to call you name. I've received death threat. I've had people tell me they would kill me. And you know what? It's okay. It's all part of the deal. But now we have a dude that is trying to sue important people like Musk, Rowling, Trump, and even the platform itself. And under French law, this is worth mentioning, because under French law, so as you can see on your screen here, under French law means that it is filed against unknown persons. That ensures that the prosecution has all the latitude to be able to investigate against all people, including those who may have written hateful messages under pseudonym. That is what Boudi, the lawyer of Imane Khelif, is saying, and the reason why they're going after the platform as a whole. But what I find even more interesting in all of this is the fact that the only platform that seems to be named or cited in this is X. Nobody's talking about Facebook. Nobody's talking about Instagram. Nobody's talking about TikTok. Nobody's talking about YouTube. Yet, I've seen a lot of people call Imane Khelif a man on every single platform out there. Yet, the only platform that they're going after right now is X. I find the timing to be, to say the least, interesting. And let me tell you why. Because just last week, one day before Elon Musk interviewed Donald Trump on the X platform, the European Union sent a warning to Musk, reminding him of their law against promoting harmful content. I don't believe in coincidences. So on one hand, you have Imane Khelif that is planning on suing Elon Musk and the other players that I've mentioned. Now they're trying to go after X, and that is just a day after the EU warned Musk of their harmful content laws. Do you think it's a coincidence? Because I don't believe in coincidences. I don't know for you, but I do not believe in coincidences. And I found a video that actually speaks about this. So let's listen to this. It's going to give you more information about the actual letter that they sent Musk, but listen to this. We'll talk after it. We'll talk about it afterwards. There's a couple of things that we need to look at here. First, if this is the case, if the UK, for example, is capable of going after Elon Musk for what they believe is incitement or hate speech, one thing we need to think about is the precedents that set. Because, as mentioned in the video, that means that we will be under the law of the most totalitarian government on the planet. In this case, let's call it the UK. So that means that as a Canadian or as an American, if you say something that the British government does not like, that means that you're under their law. So even if you possibly have free speech in your own country, if you're capable of extraditing people for saying something that hurts somebody's feelings, that means that you will be regulated by the most totalitarian governments on earth. And this is where the problem lies, is that your freedom of speech at home don't matter anymore. They do not matter because the UK would be capable, in this example, the UK would be capable of going after you. Is that not scary to you? Tell me that this is not scary. Tell me that this is not totalitarian in nature. Tell me that this is not destroying the First Amendment in the US. Because that's basically what they're saying. Imagine that they would have that power. Imagine that this would be possible. Luckily, after as per a lawyer friend of mine, although the UK and the US do have extradition agreements based on dual criminality, as per my Texas lawyer friend, it is not presently possible for them to extradite Americans. But for the Canadians out there, that might be a different story, because remember, Canada is still under the Commonwealth. So basically, Canada is still under British rule. And considering that we have one of the most Marxist prime minister in the world, Justin Trudeau, would it be that far-fetched for Trudeau to allow the extradition of people like me because I've hurt somebody's feelings overseas, or that I instigated, air quoted, instigated hateful behavior in a different country by providing my opinion? Because this is where we're at right now. This is what's actually going on. This is what we're looking at right now. And hopefully you guys in the US understand how somebody like Kamala Harris, for example, that's already mentioned multiple times that she will go after the Second Amendment and pass the gun laws, the common sense gun laws that she wants to pass. And if Congress doesn't pass them within 100 days, she will pass them through executive orders. So is it that hard to believe that if elected, a woman like her would allow extradition treaties for hate speech? Is it that hard to believe? Because to me, that's the next step. This is the next step. And I don't see this as being very hard to believe. This is not a woman that loves free speech. This is not a woman that loves the Second Amendment, meaning she does not like the Constitution. So is it that hard to believe that she would go after the Second Amendment, or the First Amendment? I should say the First and the Second Amendment. Is it that hard to believe? Because to me, it's the next logical step. I have no problem seeing that that is the next step she's going to take if elected. And I don't know for you, but this is scary as hell. And this is why what's going on right now in the UK and with Imane Khelif's lawsuit are making the upcoming US presidential election the most important elections the Americans have ever had. This is the most important election in United States history. You really have a choice between somebody that believes in free speech, that believes in free market, that believes in competition, that believes that the best person for the job should be selected, that believes that Americans should be able to produce as much gas as they want in order to build up the middle class. And then on the other side, you have a woman that is a DEI hire, that believes that whatever hurts people's feeling is problematic, that has admitted to want to go after the Second Amendment. So this is no longer about left versus right. It's really about what is good and what is bad, what is good and what is evil. It really comes down to your freedoms. What is more important to you? Facts or feelings? Security or freedom? Because those are your choices. This is what the November US election comes down to. Do you want facts and freedom to win? Or do you want feelings and security? Those are your choices. It's really that simple, and that's what it comes down to. That's what everything boils down to. It's I hope that you guys understand how important this election is. The November election is. I really hope you guys understand the impact that this could have on the US. And not just the US, but the US is considered one of the number one superpowers. I would argue between Russia and China, right? Between the top three superpowers in the world. But it's always been seen as a beacon of freedom, a beacon of liberty. Do you understand how important it is for you guys, if you want to keep your freedoms, if you want to go back maybe a 10, 15 years prior to Obama's administration and gain even more of your freedoms back instead of losing more and more and more? Those are your choices. Those are your choices when it comes to the November election. And you know, I wasn't a big Ted Cruz fan before. Not that it's just because I didn't know the guy. Let's be clear here. It's not because I had anything against him. It's really just that I did not know the guy. I never took the time to get to know his policies and what he stood for. But I just finished his book, Unwoke. And for anybody out there that wants to understand Marxism, that wants to understand how the country has become what it's become today, and it's not just in the US, it's in the US and Canada and even in Europe, because the principle is the same. But if you want to understand what has happened to the Western world and how is it possible that we're under almost a socialist government now, both in Canada and the US, if you want to understand how that happened, just read his book. His book is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And his story is very interesting as well. So if you want to learn more, I highly suggest, if you want to learn more about the history of wokeism and how the fuck did we end up in the situation that we find ourselves in today, take a look at his book. But the reason I'm bringing Ted Cruz up is not because of his book, but it's because of what he said yesterday in a podcast about Kamala Harris. He, about 11 months ago, he predicted that Biden would be replaced. We all know that that came true. Right after the debate with Donald Trump, he said, this is it. This is all they needed. He's going to be replaced. We all know that came true. Kamala Harris is not only the next candidate or the candidate, the Democrat candidate, but what he's predicting today, what he predicted yesterday, is chilling as hell. Is very, very scary. But his prediction that he made yesterday, and he says that there's a 40-ish, 50% chances. As at one point in his latest podcast, he's saying it's a 50-50 chance that Biden will be replaced by Kamala before the end of his term. And think about it, it makes sense. Because if he's not fit enough mentally, physically, emotionally to run for a second term, is he really fit to continue the existing one? So his prediction is that before the end of his term, so before November, Kamala Harris will become the US president. 50% chances in his opinion. And I gotta say, I was listening to his podcast this morning, and that's fucking scary. That is really fucking scary. Because not only did she not get elected properly in order to represent the Democrat, now as VP, if Biden leaves, if he's pushed away, that would make her the president. Ted Cruz is saying that it's going to be very useful for her and her voting base in order for them to see her as president, because you're not going for first-time president. You're trying to be reelected, air quoting here, reelected because you are the current president. But the part that he didn't talk about, and that's the part that scares the hell out of me, is the fact that she has said multiple times that she will pass laws through executive order if Congress doesn't do what she wants them to do. So how long is she going to wait if she's in power? before she starts passing laws, before she starts passing common sense gun laws, before she starts passing free free speech laws. And this is what I want you to think about. I posted the video on my Instagram this morning if you want to see it, because people are telling me for some reason on Instagram that they can't hear my videos. So I'm not going to play it right now, just so that they're not just looking at a blank. They can actually listen to it later, but just because I'm having technical difficulties, it sounds like, on Instagram, I'm not going to share it. But if you want to see it, definitely go check my Instagram. I posted it because his podcast is about an hour long. You don't have to listen to the whole thing if you just want to see that part. But the point in the matter is that he's predicting that Kamala Harris will become president before November. I don't know what you think about this, but this is a very, very scary thought. Very, very scary to me. On that note, if you're tired of what's going on right now, if you're tired of the mess that we find ourselves in, if you don't want Kamala Harris to become the next president, here are 5 things that you can do starting right now, that every single one of you can do starting right now, starting today. Number 1, keep up to date with what's going on in the world and in your community. Number 2, make sure that you know what your kids are being taught in school. Number 3, attend all local school board meetings and city council meetings. You need to know what they're planning. You need to know what they're doing. You need to know what they're talking about. Because what really impacts your life, your personal life, is what goes on in your community, and your city council and school board meetings are where those decisions are taken. So make sure to attend, make sure to know what they're up to. Number 4, find other people in your community that aligns with your values and make sure to get involved any way that you can. Number 5, make your voice heard on social media. Either share your own opinion, create your own content, let others know what you stand for, or share content from people like me, from other conservative voices out there that align with your values. Because one thing that I've realized over the past 4 years of creating content is this: most people don't have the courage to speak up. They don't have the courage to say what needs to get said because they have families, because they don't want to lose their jobs, because of many reasons. But it takes people like us to have the courage to say it. Because we're not only talking for ourselves, but we're talking for them too. We are their voices. So make sure to do your part, because sitting on the sideline, being silent, is no longer an option. The time for action is now. As always, I want to thank every single one of you guys out there that like my comment, that like my comments, that like my content, that shares my content, that comments on my content, that joins this live. I want to thank every single one of you for it, because without you guys, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So thank you, and know that I appreciate every single one of you. Let's finish with a prayer. God, thank you for everything that you do for us. We are grateful for all our blessings. Please give us the courage to stand up for what we know is right, the words to say what needs to get said, and the will to help and serve others. Amen. I will see you guys on Friday. Thanks for being here, and peace out.